I'll handle things from here on.
Ghostrunner is a first-person action fast-paced game set in a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk world. Let's say that the world has been pretty much destroyed, but there are still a few very human lives remaining trying to survive. And there's only one last remaining shelter, that is a huge tower, which is actually a tower-shaped city called Dharma. However, chaos, poverty and violence took over this place, and your target is to eliminate all these bad things and find out the secrets and origin of this superstructure that was built by the architect, who is supposed to have died mysteriously years ago in order to become powerful enough to beat the one responsible for all this evil, that is Mara, the Keymaster. She has no mercy for the human life. But is Mara the only form of evil behind all of this? And where were the true intentions of the architect? That is something that you'll figure out way later in the game. Your character, Ghostrunner, who is called by someone else during the game as Jack, is a cyber warrior. He is the only one able to fight both in the physical world and in the cyberspace, which is the advantage he needs to ascend the tower. Once back as human, he was known as Adam. The higher you'll climb, more secrets will be revealed. Or you solve the riddle or get killed. It's your choice. Ghostrunner is a skill-based game. It requires from players to practice until they get used to how the game works. I can tell it's pretty challenging, almost since the beginning, and of course it will get harder once you advance. It is pretty normal to die a lot of times for some people, others maybe not so much. Once a player is used to run through the metal walls and so on, maybe they will just manage getting things done pretty fast and easier than you think. It is pretty fun game nonetheless, and I will not change the difficulty of it, otherwise it is likely that part of the fun will be gone. By the way, an option to change to a different difficulty level in this game does not exist. Get used to it. 2 words, get good. Maybe something that I'll adjust though will be the position of some enemies. In a few areas where some groups of enemies are at, you may be too exposed and it may be a little too hard to hide, dodge or dash at times depending on the situation, and you may have to die sometimes until you find out the perfect tactics to manage clearing the area. This is because of the enemy placement in some areas. Other thing is about the platforms. For whoever enjoy platform games, Ghostrunner is actually innovative to the point you'll have to interact with a few platforms in terms of hacking them to switch them to different positions to proceed to the next areas and such. The climbing and jumping to surfaces is pretty basic. Honestly, the character jumps are not very strong in distance, which I kinda disagree with. You don't want to make it too easy, but the jumps are kinda weak, sad to say. It doesn't jump as high enough as I wished, but the dash skill is something that I needed to use quite a lot to help me going a little further through a big part of my journey, mostly sideways though. Because pretty much is what a dash or deflect does, okay, it just moves sideways. Anyway, but while in the air it gives you like that punch, you know, that kick that you need to keep going. What I found mostly satisfying was really the wall running, for as long as it lasted. The sliding, even though it's something that you won't do much, or not as much as often as I wished, actually. Sliding down ramps is a really fun thing to do, as well with watching your character going through them. Really cool. Also, hanging on the grapple hooks and suspended rails is quite enjoyable, as long as you pay attention to the next thing you'll need to grab or jump on. Now that I mentioned the suspended rails or whatever it's the name of those things, if you own peripherals or PC parts that are compatible with ASUS RO software, there's a little option you can enable in the game. What this will do is something fun to the LED lights of your keyboard, mouse, special mouse pad, RAM, sticks and so on. Whatever you got with LED lights that works with our software will interact with the game if you turn this option on. I've done that while playing Ghostrunner in my boyfriend's PC, and the LEDs would look fun, like I was in a playground while sliding in the rails. They would flash. It is unnecessary but a fun little feature. If you like a game with lots of movement, parkour-like, Ghostrunner can be something to try out. It takes a little extra effort overall to master though. Lots of practicing. The mechanics are not something very complex in this game, it's actually something simple, let's say, but it is really enjoyable to be able to run on the surfaces of several walls without falling down, once you are balanced enough and are running at the proper speed, of course. It is really satisfying to reach to a safe place. I kind of disliked a few parts of this game, to the point I almost hated them sometimes, but the great thing of this game is that it kept me giving the will of keep trying and not quitting, okay? I'm not an easy quitter. And I've done multiple attempts until I've found out the right position and timing to proceed to the next parts of the game. Sometimes it's really about the position and perfect timing, okay? The right clicks, the right jump and such are just the key. And feeling relaxed too. Just lay back in your chair, make some hand movements, some hand stretches when needed, since having your hands and fingers too tense for too long may not help at times. Well, mostly important, get focused, okay? Don't feel distracted with anything. You'll get there. I'm no player above the average. I live, I die, I live again. Using the katana to slash your enemies like a fruit ninja slices a watermelon in half in slow motion is disturbingly fun. I found that using dash movement skill is one of the most important things to do in this game. And not only while passing to different surfaces mostly times, but also to defend yourself from enemy attacks. This game includes an upgrade system which enriches it. Once you keep going through the levels, your character will acquire new upgrades to improve your gameplay experience. There are different kinds of abilities that you'll gain once you progress through the game. The wall run, dash or deflect, the grapple ability, blink, tempest,
The air ducts lead to another sector.
surge,
The air ducts lead to another sector.
and overlord. These last four ones are separated skills, separated abilities, which you can select with a 1, 2, 3 or 4, the keys on your keyboard, and then use by pressing the Q key and then the action button, in this case the left mouse button, to just use them aiming at your enemies. So they are kind of different from the other common abilities. There's an interface which is the calibration panel where you apply the skill boosters at. You must rotate the blocks in a proper way and try to filling up the empty slots in order to get the most useful abilities that fit your needs better. This does what the name says, they boost the skills, okay, that you are using, so use them wisely. The skills and slots will be unlocked through your game progress. You can at any time switch the boosters, okay? You can remove them and put another ones different, adapt them to your needs, okay? At the moment, you can eventually switch them for whatever you are going to use next, which is kinda cool. So these things don't have to be permanent here on the panel. In mostly of the different levels, there are a few secrets that can be found in some hidden places. If you see floating question marks, just pick them. Some can be new katana skins, which later can be found in your armory section from the user interface once you find and unlock them, and others can be collectibles, like artifacts or audio logs, and you can check them under the Codex tab. None of these are really needed to finish the game, however they are great to collect. I still need to find a bunch of them, but hopefully I will get to find more soon. I will repeat the levels eventually and just get better. There will be a couple of different areas in the ends of certain levels that will make your eyes go a little crazy for a while, but you'll get used to them. Just pay attention where you put your feet at. This can be focused on platform jumping, puzzle solving, which is a nice little add to the game. Personally, I didn't enjoy much the puzzle parts on this game. I do enjoy the implementation of puzzles into many sorts of games, because I love puzzles. But on Ghostrunner, the types of puzzles they added, not so much, but I enjoy the fact they added these to the game, honestly. I just like it to see things differently, in a certain way. But yes, it's a great add to break the routine for a while. And also in these parts of the levels, they also added the new skills training. You have to pass through and train your new skills that you will eventually acquire in these areas. Eventually later in the game you will see some sorts of this area that will become more and more challenging to pass through, and some of these areas won't be having new skills training. Okay, that's where you will have eventually more trouble to pass through. They are going to be more challenging. Even the last level, big spoiler here, okay? If you don't want to check spoilers, just close the video, alright? Here I just want to make sure you play only once the last level of this game. Unless you wanna have like a breakdown, a stroke, I'm warning you. At least for me, I felt a little upset trying to beat this one. My hand joints didn't enjoy, overall myself was pissed off with myself, okay? And not with the game anymore at a point, since I didn't take a single break until I've passed that level. It's what I consider of a nightmare fuel after spiders. It was annoying. What I find cool in Ghostrunner is that you can not only restart checkpoints but also restart levels and choose to select which levels you want to play later if you wish to repeat them. For example, let's say I've died 100 times in a level and it took me about 30 minutes to finish that level. That sounds horrible, I know, but I don't like those stats, and so I want to repeat that level and improve the stats. And now that I'm more experienced in the game, I'll repeat that level, and this time I've only died twice and finished it in 10 minutes. Not bad. Yeah, you can do that, which is cool. Be aware of the fact that the game saves locally and it only fully saves your progress once you complete each level, so just in case you reach to a checkpoint and die. Of course you will have to respawn in that same checkpoint, but if you go back to the main menu or quit the game after it saves on that checkpoint, the game won't save your progress. If you're halfway on that level, you'll have to start that level you were playing on from the beginning again. So if you're planning to play, make sure you fully complete a level before quitting the game. For sure, I love if the checkpoints were saved once I quit the game, but that's not possible. What I usually do is to make sure I have enough time to fully complete a level, otherwise that's gonna be messed up. I know it's a kind of some sort of a negative point to this game, but that's how it is. I won't make a negative review of this game on Steam just because of this, but it's not a pleasant point for some people. However, if I have to repeat a whole level because of this, I have to. If I cannot proceed with the full level because of a reason that I have to quit the game, that's how it is. You have to repeat the whole level if you cannot proceed, in some exceptions. After finishing the game, if you choose to select to play any of the levels you've played before, the character will start with every skill and secrets you've obtained in your previous gameplay, which is actually cool because you'll have the advantage from the beginning. I don't want to talk for everyone, but I think Ghostrunner is great for different types of players, some who love to attempt speedruns, others who want to test their might, their skill, players like me who like to slash enemies in a gorgeous environment. Yeah, call me crazy, a pile of metal that this city is made of is not really as beautiful as a landscape with mountains and a lake, but I meant in terms of being visually pleasant when it comes to the light settings, geometric structures and colors. The cyber world has been always visually pleasing due to these things. Of course, no one wants to live in a place without trees around and lay down in a cold metallic structure and getting electrocuted by some robotic device to fulfill their cybernetic kinks at any point of their lives. I guess. Nope. Let me tell you that it is not a game to make you feel fully relaxed, but it will make you feeling satisfied and fulfilled after each level or checkpoint. And it's fun. It has action and you need to take quick decisions at times. Other times you can take a little break to rest and to think what to do next. I found, however, a little difficult to properly parry an attack, but I've been doing it my own way. You'll find that parrying an attack is very useful for specific enemies, such ninjas and someone else that I'll be talking very soon. Wondering if Ghostrunner has bosses? Sure it does. The first boss, the Gatekeeper T073M, will only show up in the middle of the game, level 8. This one is a machine that has lasers and a radiation blast. You'll have to be careful enough and use your attention and movement skills until you finally reach the machine top and destroy its core. I honestly wouldn't realize it was a boss if there was nothing pointing that out. Just some highly challenging section which I had to pass through and disable for the sake of my own safety. The last part of it was the less challenging, but going up through the laser's nightmare with the grappling hooks made me spend a lot of time until I succeeded. If you look up, it's craziness. You don't want to go up there, really. Parrying attacks is essential to beat the second boss at level 12, Hell. She's a little tough and challenging. Her attacks are extremely fast. You'll need to manage how to parry them in the correct timing, and once she feels tired, it's your turn to slash her. You'll find a few similarities here with the ninja enemies. It's all about timing. Careful, once she gets hit, she will switch platforms and shoots lasers. If you die once you attack her the first or second time, the progress will reset. There are no checkpoints, of course. Actually, I don't think there should be boss checkpoints, but there are a few exceptions in games. Surely it can become frustrating for some, if it's a very annoying boss. Opposite to this one, the developers decided to add checkpoints for the next boss. Let's check it out. Closer to the end of the game, level 16, you'll finally try to beat Mara. She's not some sort of anti-octopus figure, okay? She belongs to the cyberpunk world, so don't confuse things. You'll have to cut her mechanical octopus legs. This requires some patience. Something that I disagree with during this boss fight is the fact that the deflect or dash ability, as well with the grapple hooks, are the only things that we are allowed to use through the process, putting the rest of the skills on the side of the plate. I would definitely make some adjustments to the attack options from this boss. Besides off-the-floor dangers, her mechanical tentacles attacks are simple. I advise you to use mostly dash abilities on the calibration panel. The checkpoints are saved once you hit her. Last but not least, big spoiler here, you will face the architect himself. The architect, you say? Yes, that monster. I can tell you that this one was a tricky boss, and I'm not joking. His challenge was the whole level. Some parts of it were pure madness. Probably the level where I've died the most, and I'm not telling you how many times I did it, it's too embarrassing. And mostly in this part. I can tell this part of Ghostrunner was horrible. It was clearly easy to find how to auto-pass to the next part of the level. I'm not that dumb, it was obvious, but my hand bones were pretty sore at this point. Well, maybe I should have taken a break really, but not so fast. I don't quit that easily. And I've already presented you this video way after my deadline, and that was making me even more upset, more frustrated. Anyway, it was such a pleasure for me to reach the top, land on the same level as the architect and destroy him. Ghostrunner character has something I simply love. He's a freaking badass. And the hero. What has put me off a bit and made me a little was that at times the controls will become a little unresponsive, and that will lead me to unexpected deaths. Not something happening to me often, however, the game is still quite playable, but it was definitely to add to the top of the hard part of the cake Ghostrunner is. The platform hacking idea is good, but I would like if there was more of it through more levels, okay? The hacking was just little, in my opinion. The voice acting is great, no negative points from my part, nothing else to say about this. The soundtrack is fire. All the tracks were done by Daniel Deluxe. I knew music from this artist before. Great to listen to his stuff while I was playing. It's really enjoyable for me at least. Of course, tastes are different. I can tell it kind of helped me going through the game, adding extra adrenaline to it. Kinda cool, yeah. Surely the game isn't perfect, but still quite a great find for me. I like it and totally recommend it. Also, I would like to thank to the team for giving me the chance of trying this game. That was awesome. Feel free to check the links down below on my video description. Click on the watch more option if you wish. Have a nice day and thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate your time.